Well, hello gardeners, welcome back. We are in Merritt Island, Florida today, and we are in a beautiful butterfly garden that we just created for a client. This garden has 10 different varieties of butterfly plants, and I don't know if you guys can see them around me, but we are literally being invaded by those beautiful creatures. So today I want to take a tour through some of the most common butterfly plants that I like to use. Now, what I do love about butterfly plants is the obvious. They bring those beauties in. The one negative is it's kind of hard to create a butterfly garden without it kind of creating a crazy kind of look. It's a more cottagey vibe, and as you guys know, that's kind of not necessarily the way that I like to design. So this is kind of like marrying my style with a butterfly garden style. There's going to be obviously a little bit more layered effects, more softness of plants leaning on plants, but overall it's still going to be a clean, defined line. So I still planted in the same kind of drift patterns, the same kind of levels. So if this is a combination that you like, and you are a butterfly lover, then stick around because I'm going to list all of these plants that we chose, the kind of the locations we chose them in. Most of them are sun varieties. So for those of you guys who are new to our channel, my name is Jennifer Bevins. I am a landscape designer of over 25 years now, and I specialize in creating these kind of landscapes for my clients. Every single week we do projects just like this. We also have a design-only service for those of you guys that are outside our area, and we have a virtual consult option also. So if that's something that you're looking for, I'll put all of our contact information down below. Check us out, see if we're going to be a good fit for what you're looking for. But for right now, let's get started and tour this beautiful garden. So you guys, before we start pointing out the plants individually, I'm going to ask Bryce to kind of just do a span throughout the whole front yard space, so that way you guys kind of get an overall chance to see what the whole garden looks like as a combination, as a whole look. This is a very long front yard and with a big septic tank in the middle. So we really kind of just landscaped around the corners of the septic tank to make sure that we didn't infringe on this whole front section. We hit as many hot points as we could to really create some interest around this house without, of course, getting into any of the danger zones that we are trying to avoid. So you guys, we're right here at the right corner of the house. So of course, our big anchor tree is going to be the triple foxtail palm, but that triple foxtail palm needed a backing, needed some height, some impact to the rear. So what we chose to do is bring in some red hibiscus. This is our first butterfly plant. We've got a clustering of 8 red hibiscus that are going to kind of come from this point here and curve around the back side of it, filling up this whole corner to about 5 foot tall. Now these are planted about 1.5 feet to 2 foot on center. So I plant them in kind of a staggered effect. So you can see like there's a trio here of a triangle formation and then a staggered grouping here. This will allow them to connect fast, and that way they don't get that wonky shape to them. That way they really become a nice grouped planting and will create a fabulous wall of red hibiscus. Now I often see hibiscus kept at like a 3 foot and under size, where they're cut back and cut back and cut back. And although they will have a tendency to become woody, and you will not get nearly as many blooms as you will if you let them get 4 foot and above. So 4 to 6 foot is kind of the sweet spot for hibiscus. And since blooms are a big part of what they're doing here to attract all kinds of beautiful things, I've asked my clients to go around 4 to 6 foot in keeping them the rear wall here. So they're going to be kind of that colorful, bright red and green wall directly behind this tree. And then the next grouping of plants is going to tear down from there. So these Sanchezia are not butterfly plants, but I do love what they do against this green. So that's part of my design style that it, kind of mixed in with her butterfly style. So these Sanchezia are going to cluster here at a nice 3 foot height on both sides. Then it tears down to some native Kunti palms right in this group, which are going to really become just a nice bit of dark green foliage. And then another favorite butterfly plant, our second variety, which is the Blue My Minds. Oh my gosh, they love, love, love Blue My Minds. So this is going to be a carpet flower right through here. And if you guys are looking to recreate this kind of style for yourself, you can really see kind of exactly how these layers are set is how they're going to become and grow in. So we got the ground cover here of the Blue My Minds. Our next tier is the Kunti palms. We've done a little bit of gold mound on the corners just to kind of have another 2 foot height as they grow in. These Kunti palms will be 3 foot in the middle. These Sanchezia will be 3.5 foot on the sides. And then these swath of hibiscus will be around 5 foot to 6 foot, depending on what the client's looking for as a rear wall. So boom, 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 all the way to ground level. And now you have a really nice tiered corner bed effect. All right, so one thing I do not want to miss in this particular little island planting here is this Sapphire Duranta. Now, there's not too many. We've got a couple little touches of wings around here, but this is a draw for butterflies. If you guys like the look of this tree, I know it's a little bit crazy, a little bit wild, pop a couple of these in your garden. They will absolutely come flocking to them. This sporadic, wild, crazy bloom at the edge is just super stunning and work with a tropical garden like nobody's business. I have seen where these kind of look like firecrackers when they're about 4 or 5 foot tall and really open up. Or you can keep them more ball-like. If you're just really into pruning, you can keep these more condensed. You just have to do quite a bit of trimming to them. But this is called Sapphire Duranta, and it's just a great little tree. They come in bushes, but I like the trees because they're a little bit easier to keep because of their natural sprawling constitution there. They really do, they do look like a firecracker to me. They do kind of go wild. And then this is what I do with milkweed, you guys. Well, hello, ladies. This is what I do with milkweed. I stick them in the back. I know that they have a purpose. I know they have a goal in life, but I stick them in the back and they do a great job of becoming little host plants for our butterflies. I commonly will find little key areas, even in my own garden. And when I've got a sunny spot and it's not really seen, I'll stick some milkweed back there. They'll hover around the milkweed, and then what you see is the butterflies, but not necessarily the mess of the butterfly plants or host plants. Now, these are the same thing. You can see these caterpillars on these vines, a big butterfly attractant here. I mean, look at these guys. Yeah, and then you can check out this vine here. I mean, look at what a host plant this is. You can see the caterpillars already starting here, and then you can see that this is actually a leaf itself, but they'll mimic this when they cocoon into this look, which is just so fabulous. This is just such a fantastic little grouping. It does bloom a gorgeous flower throughout the year. This is the flower before it was decimated by the butterflies, so you can really see just how that's going to town. All right, so we're on the side island. I kind of made this more like a wing here. The neighbor's house is directly across, and so is their driveway. So this offers a little bit of privacy, as well as kind of creating a little, just again, a butterfly island. So this is gonna be a gorgeous little layering grouping that's really gonna bring this in. We have packed this full with some really great color, with some really great plants. We've got Anne-Marie lantanas just below here. They're going to really come into that 2-foot range and really kind of fill out this spot. We've got some dwarf pentas. These are the dwarf hot pink pentas right here. They're going to flank right in front of these gold mounds. Of course, big butterfly attractant. So they're really going to do a nice job here. Right through this front, we have just kind of a drift of Bloom My Minds, again, to, benefit our cause. That rear corner right behind that tree there, I love the yellow goldenrod milkweed. I think it's just the prettiest of the variety to me. But you can see that they're going to be tucked kind of in this corner where this mimosa tree or powder puff tree will open up and really fill out and kind of disguise this a little bit from the back, and then the plants to the front will help disguise some of the thinner growth down below. So it'll kind of give us a nice tiered effect. These mimosa trees are beautiful bloomers. This is the pink variety, and it's going to get into that 5 to 6 foot range and really open up. Now the bush variety is multi-stemmed, where the tree variety is obviously a standard or a single trunk dominant leader trunk. This is going to really open up, branch out, and really give a nice backdrop to the King Alexander palm, and then of course offer the blooms for the butterflies. I wanted a nice defined line here, so what we have is some blazed copper leaf. Now I know they don't offer a bloom. They're probably not a fan favorite of the butterflies in this island, but they do kind of give us a nice dramatic pop of color right through the middle. And you kind of see how I like to curve my plantings. So I'm almost creating like a soft tropical hedge with this particular plant. It's going to wrap around the rear side of some tall material, come in, and then curve back around. It's going to offer a little bit of a border for this space. So that way our butterfly plantings has some divisions, some lines. They have a tendency, butterfly plants want to grow together and really kind of overlap each other. So my goal was define lines with some plants that can really be strong enough to kind of create that border for our plants. So they're running right through the middle of this, right through the front. We have the ruby reds kind of defining that border. And then along the rear side here, we've got dwarf fire bush. Now this is not the native variety, but it is my favorite variety. This is a variety that you can keep 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, you know, it is one of those things that it will continue to grow, but you can absolutely keep it your desired height and it will still stay green and it will still bloom, which is the most ideal thing about that particular plant, is that it can be bushy and thick and stay as short as you want, hence the name dwarf, even though it will get 10 or 12 foot tall if you let it. So we have another mimosa bush here. And of course, the one we were just looking at was there, and we've got one over on that corner just to kind of give us a backdrop of a different variety in color here. Right here, we have a Hong Kong orchid. It's just coming out of season, so it's gonna flush back out with new growth and then offer a beautiful purple contrasting bloom. So this is gonna be stunning right here. So this is a nice big bed that is mixed with a little bit of butterfly chaos and then a little bit of more fine tuning of the tropical look. So I think there's a great balance of both in this bed. And then you pop in a couple larger trees and some palm trees and voila, it's butterfly, it's tropical, it's Florida, it's all together. So I think there's a great combination, a great mix, and it's gonna offer my clients tons and tons and tons of fun watching these little cool little creatures in their garden. Let's take a peek at their other front bed. All right, you guys, so this little bed right here is exactly what it needed to be. This septic tank comes right to the edge here. So we incorporated as many plants as we could to soften the foundation of this house and then tie it into the rest of the landscaping. But this is the reason why it just kind of doesn't do my natural big loops like I like to do. But I think it's just enough for this space. So we have got a trio Antilou or Florica porterlines in this grouping right here. So this is the Antilou variety. The Florica have a little bit more pink in them, but I know a lot of people call them the same plant. So, but you can use either or for the same type of look. These are going to really grow into a nice 5 foot height right here along this brick. And I think they're going to just really show off the space really, really well. Then we've got some golden dust down below. Neither one of these, of course, are butterfly plants, but they're a nice balance to them, I think, kind of helping keeping the bed low maintenance and working with such a small area. A little touch of Blue My Minds right at the front. And then we have yellow African iris right here. This is just one bloom on this plant. This is gonna go to town with more of them. But look at that gorgeous, delicate bloom on those. I just love, love, love this plant. And when it comes to that plant, maintenance is super easy. All you want to do is trim anything that's hanging too low, kind of keeping those stalks a little tight at the bottom like a bouquet of flowers, trim all the way around the base, and just do that about every 3 months when you see that happen. These guys you can cut back every single year all the way to the ground if you like and let it flush back out. But to me, I like them full and thick and just trim those bases. But they bloom every spring, all throughout the summer. I just think they're such a nice, delicate look in front of a window that you don't want to block. So they're very nice and vertical here. And then we just chose some, a little bit bigger than basketball size, some soft boulders just to inset into the landscape to kind of mix texture because we couldn't put any big plants in here. So those were our big feature. Our secondary big features are the little foxtail ferns, some golden sedum near the boulders, and then of course finishing them off with some Blue My Minds right through here. And I think this little bed is just enough for this space. Well, you guys will have to let me know what you think. Also, let me know if there is a butterfly plant that you absolutely love, because I have clients all the time wanting me to come up with different scenarios of, something attractants to bring those in. If there's anything that you guys said, I brought this in and it just opened the floodgates. It was just perfect for my garden because of this reason, then please share it in the comments down below. You guys who are looking for more of a list, please check out the comments down below. I'm sure you'll find a huge amount of variety of different species that you can incorporate into your very own butterfly garden. And then as you can see right here, it's just a rinse and repeat on the opposite side. So when you have spaces that are equal in sizes and distance, it's better off just to kind of work with what you have. So we have a centerpiece focal point with a little bit of softness, and then these two sides are more vertical, more thick, more dense, more with a pop of color or heaviness. We couldn't go heavy here, so we did a pop of color, and I think that did a nice job of working with both spaces. So we have a little island over here right by the front door. Let's take a look at that. So the centerpiece tree in this island here is the bottle brush. This is the standard variety, or what they call the lollipop shape. So this one can stay nice and compact. It can on average double in size what this head is, but you can keep it this size forever, or you can let it just get a little chunkier and a little broader as a circular little topper. Comes with a nice single dominant leader down below, so it becomes and stays a nice kind of compact tree. So we didn't have a lot of room to work with here, and I think it's going to do a fantastic fantastic job of just really housing the birds and the butterflies and just, you know, with its bloom. And these guys bloom all year long, but especially in spring, early summer, they just go to town with those blooms. Right here, we did the same thing as we did in the front. We just kind of did a chunky grouping of some antilus, and then we have some on that side with some chunky grouping. Now they're gonna keep these guys probably similar to size to what they currently are. Just really let them be just kind of a heavier grouping. You do not need to let them get 10 foot tall and just legginess. You really can keep them chunky, kind of like a bouquet of flowers. Down below, we have some hot pink dwarf pentas. These are the penta varieties that get chunky and full, not so tall and leggy. So they're gonna do a great job of kind of being a little barrier along the edge. Just a teeny tiny bit of 3 blew my minds. And then in the middle, just because we have so many nice lower layers down here, I want these Songs of India to get about 3 foot tall and really connected and really bushy and a little bit wild and crazy. That way they connect together and create that perfect soft tropical little hedge underneath this red. Now I have seen these when they're full and they're lush, and then you have a pop of red or pink or a contrasting color like that. It's just dazzling, those two combinations. So I use them in places just like that when you have that light and that dark combination together. But these are giant apostle iris. We just got into the season where all the big ones were gone, so we've got some babies coming in here. These will max out at 3.5 foot tall, bloom a gorgeous purple flower, and really just kind of fill in this wall space. So they're gonna kind of come into a nice height like this, really be nice and vertical. In this little bed, we have the solid burgundies of these guys. We've got the variegation of white and green of these guys. And then we've got, when it's time for blooming power, we've got the Blew My Minds of the blue, the hot pinks of the pentas, the beautiful purple of these giant apostle iris, and then the gorgeous red bottle brush blooms of the tree itself. And so this will be a very colorful combination for a very small planting coming up the walkway. It'll just wave at people as they come in. I think it's gonna be quite welcoming. So now we're gonna take a look at this other bed that we have right here by the walkway. So this right here, all this green that you guys see here, this is the lovely septic tank. So this all the way through to the edge of the house line is what we could not touch. Now we did have some footage right along here, so we did pop out a little bed because you know how I am, waste not, want not, and we had a little spot to work with. So we have a little island that we're going to let be its own little garden right here. We have got the false agave as the centerpiece. We did a little raise to this island right here, and then I got some railroad vine for the butterflies to really just enjoy a little touch on either side of the dwarfed pentas. Of course, when I have boulders, I put foxtail ferns in here. I know you guys from up north probably are laughing when I call these boulders, but in Florida, they're boulders. So they're small boulders, but we just kind of have them to give them just a change in the garden because this is not a big bed and it's hard to fill up a big bed like this with plants. So changing the elements is a great way of doing just that. I have a little bit of golden sedum right at the touch because the heat off of this sidewalk is intense. So you really have to work with some plants that are really going to be able to handle that long term. And these guys, all of these guys can battle that battle. So it's going to just be a nice little punch in an area that we could put it. So all right, gardeners, that's pretty much the end of our front yard tour. I'm going to list the plants again that were butterfly plants amongst this garden, which the first one was the red hibiscus. The second, blew my minds because they're just blew my minds. And then the third is the dwarfed pink pentas. The fourth is the yellow African iris. The fifth is the sapphire duranta tree. Oh my goodness. The sixth is the Anne Marie lantana. The seventh is the dwarf firebush. The eighth is the yellow lantana tree. 9 is the mimosa tree, which is not yet in bloom. And then 10 is the milkweed. Now, if you count the trees, and of course everything winged loves trees. So if you count the orchid tree and the bottle brush tree and the vines, I mean, all of that can also be included. But overall, plant-wise, if those are the things that you want to incorporate into your garden to bring some winged friends in, and then those are a great grouping that I would include in landscapes that I create for others, as well as my own garden. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Check us out every single weekend. We try to bring some good information to all of you gardeners. And if there's anything that you would like to know specifically about, stick in the comments down below. If it's something too long and I can't get to it, then I will absolutely make a video about about it, because that's kind of what we're here to do. That's kind of what we enjoy to do. However, if you need more than just inspiration, I am a landscape designer. I do work along the Treasure and Space Coast. We also have a design-only service and, of course, the virtual service. So I'll put all of that contact information down below, and you can let us know if we're going to be a good fit for you guys. All right, you guys, so if you've enjoyed today's garden tour, then check out our latest garden tour. I'm sure you'll enjoy that one as well. So take care. I will see you in the very next video.